In this video, we are talking about pronouns and antecedents. And let's just review what these terms even mean. So a pronoun is a word that replaces a noun. So we have a lot of these, and there are different cases, different types, but let's just look at a few of them. So for example, that could be he, she, they, it, you, our, we. Those are all examples of pronouns that replace other nouns. And we use them to avoid sounding redundant. Like we wouldn't say, John forgot John's jacket. We'd say, John forgot his jacket. So we see the use for pronouns, but they do have some rules that we need to abide by. So the antecedent is the word that the pronoun, we'll say that the pronoun replaces. So if we're looking at this example up here with John forgot his jacket, his is our pronoun and it's connected to John. John would be our antecedent here. So there are a few rules for pronouns and antecedents. They have to agree in number. So let's look at a few examples. Let's say each of the paintings, and so be paying attention to our subject and what it, if it's singular, if it's plural, to make sure that this matches. So each of the paintings has their own stand. So there is our pronoun. Our subject is actually each here. Of the paintings, just a modifier telling us what each is talking about, but each is singular. So each is our antecedent. So there would be incorrect. We'd instead want to use its because that would be singular. Then it has to agree in person. So we can use an example sentence talking about how, doctors should know all of a patient's history before you make a diagnosis. Whoops. Be patient with my writing skills here. And so here we can see that our pronoun is you. And so now we see that our antecedent would actually be doctors. And this is not an agreement because doctors is in third person, but you is in second person. So we need to make sure that it aligns. So what we would do here is get rid of you and instead say before they make a diagnosis. And then we don't have that, grammatically incorrect perspective shift by putting in you when we're talking about doctors. Doctors should know all of a patient's history before they make a diagnosis. Then finally, pronouns and antecedents, for the purpose of clarity, need to be close to each other. They don't have to be right next to each other, but they can't be too far away. And you can't have a lack of clarity so that you can't find the antecedent either. So if we say Jake and Aiden had dinner plans, but he decided to cancel. So you probably can already tell what our problem is going to be here. He is our pronoun, and we don't know whether Aiden is the antecedent or Jake is the antecedent. So here we actually would rename our pronoun, rename our noun with the same noun. So, but Aiden decided to cancel would be our best choice here. So we're going to look at a few questions and see how this works when you're being tested on them. The Seattle Public Library has an archives collection that is unparalleled in the Pacific Northwest. Their collection ranges from the early 1200s to the founding of the city to the beginning of the tech era. So there, that's our pronoun. Our antecedent is library. So is there a good substitute from library? Well, no. So we can't use no change because there is plural, library is singular. So its here would be our best choice. And remember, C would not work because when we have that apostrophe there, that actually means it is. Looking at our next one, Kinzinger's covered wagons are made of three main materials. It is covered in cloth, structured with wood, and held together with metal bolts. So, it is our pronoun, and our antecedent is wagons. So, our best choice here would not be A, B, or C because those are all singular. We would need D because wagons is plural. So we would need to say they are. And finally, let's look at this one. Banneker quickly became engrossed in his studies and began to calculate the paths of the sun, moon, and other celestial bodies. Using them, he predicted a solar eclipse that occurred the next year. So this is an example of clarity and distance. We don't understand what the antecedent is here. We obviously see that our pronoun is underlined, but we don't know what the pronoun refers to. So we don't have any further information with A, C, or D. So B would be our best choice. So when you're being asked about pronouns, keep in mind that they have to agree in number, person. We have to have clarity to be able to easily find the antecedent. And in that case, we can't have the pronoun get too far away from the antecedent.